Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Before we begin, I invite you to do nothing for a moment. No fixing, no note-taking, no effort. This masterclass is for high achievers or those who desire more achievement that are tired and they've built their success or been trying to build success through responsibility, capability, and drive, yet still feel a quiet sense of pressure or restlessness underneath it all. Does that feel or sound familiar? Today is not about motivation or a strategy. It's simply about understanding what's been shaping your inner experience so that you can create a different relationship with yourself, the one that allows clarity and calm and confidence to run the show naturally. I'm Yvonne Trost, Chief Happiness Officer at Limitless You, and my work focuses on helping people like you shift out of this survival mode, these patterns that are driving you into the ground or running you on a hamster wheel so that you can get into alignment with your soul's desires without abandoning your ambition or excellence. Let's begin. So let me begin with a question. I want you to sit with this, not answer it quickly. Just notice what happens in your body when you hear it. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt genuinely at ease with yourself? When you didn't need to fix anything or prove anything or accomplish anything? When was the last time you felt genuinely at ease just by being yourself? What's coming up? I'm not talking about, I felt relieved after I finished a task or set of tasks. I'm not talking about pride after hitting a goal. I'm just talking about simply being and feeling at ease. If you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or a high achiever, there's a good chance that that question doesn't feel good. And that's not because something is wrong with you. It's because many driven people are living inside what I call the pressure trap. Most achievers didn't wake up in it. They didn't say, today I'm going to decide to live under pressure. No. Pressure slowly, silently, sometimes not silently, was built for a reason. At some point, often early in life, your system learned things like, if I'm capable, then I'm safe. If I'm needed, then I'm going to be connected and wanted. When I perform well, I get celebrated and I reduce risks. This is how overachieving turns into a survival pattern. Your brain has equated movement with protection. Always busy, 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 busy. I can't sit idle. It's equated control with safety and stability. If I can control everything, then I won't get hurt or my loved ones won't get hurt. It's equated output with your worth. When I have this amount of money or when I have this house or when I have this car or this yacht or whatever it is, then I'll be worthy. Then I'll be enough. Why does that work? Well, because your system kept repeating it. Here's the important part. Actually, this doesn't mean that you're broken. It means that your system has adapted brilliantly. But adaptations can become limiting when they keep running long after the original need or threat is gone, or when it doesn't even exist. That's when pressure stops being your competitive edge and it stops being helpful and it starts becoming exhausting. And it actually creates dis-ease and disease and all sorts of problems. So let's slow this down and make it personal. You may be in a pressure trap. Let's think about this. Does this apply to you? If you feel tense or worried, how do you know if you're in a pressure trap? If you feel tense, even during or after success, you probably are in one. If rest feels uncomfortable or undeserved, you're inside a pressure trap. If your mind jumps quickly to the next thing after you complete one thing and you think you can't be idle because it's not productive, you might be in a pressure trap most likely if peace feels conditional on everything being handled. Or if you carry a quiet sense of, I should be doing more. This isn't a lack of gratitude. It's not entitlement. And it's not failure. It's a nervous system that never learned it was allowed to slow down, that it could be safe in stillness. Many entrepreneurs confuse drive with urgency, but they're not the same. When you are driven and you're aligned, you're passionate and it can be purposeful. If there's urgency involved with that drive, it can be perceived as your system saying, hey, this is dangerous. We need to protect ourselves. So humans and animals were not meant to live in a state of urgency long term, right? That's for urgent matters, life or death matters, not constantly. It comes at a very, very high cost that might not be financial. Eventually it will be with doctor's bills probably and opportunity costs that are missed. But it becomes at a great cost to your health, your connection to self and your connection to others. So what do? One of the most important things I feel that I teach that seems to work well is repetition is the mother of all skill. So repetition doesn't just create the skill, it also can create an identity. So we want to make sure that we're developing the skills that we want and we're repeating the things that we desire. So every time you rehearse or think to yourself, I'll rest later. Once is this done, I'll feel better. Once I have this amount of money, I'll have more freedom. Once I retire, I can slow down, but not right now. You're training your nervous system with repetition, not intentionally, but automatically. Your brain believes what you say is true. And it doesn't wait for permission to say, is this applicable now? Is this applicable now? It will create an automatic pattern and it will repeat because that's how you're wiring it. So think about this. If you repeat, I'm going to put pressure on myself so that I can survive. I'm going to put pressure on myself so I can succeed. Your brain begins to believe that pressure is required to be safe. But it's not. And it's not who you are. It's just what you've practiced. It's what you've repeated. So it's not all bad news, though. The good news is it works the opposite way, too. You can practice something else. So anything practiced, right, that was becoming a pattern, you can practice something else and it can be repatterned. Not through force, through awareness and safety. So if you're like, well, I don't say those things to myself. Here's the thing. Your thoughts don't stay in your head and not impact you if you don't say them. When you think things like this, they travel through your body as signals. We won't get into it today, but the vagus nerve communicates between your brain and your body, and then these things get stored in your body, and then your body starts communicating to your brain what it should think. If you let the signals based upon your patterns of the past automatically determine your meaning that you're giving the situation. So we have to stop the automatic connection that has us feeling and acting in ways that we don't want, right? Always stay alert, always be ready for the worst thing to happen. Don't relax yet. Something still needs to be done. I mean, gosh, there's always something that's going to need to be done. If you stay in this constant state of this like fight or flight, alert, sympathetic nervous system, your body will become at great dis-ease. It will show up, maybe you're aware of your body and maybe you're not, but it'll show up as shallow breathing, maybe tight shoulders, a tight neck, your sleep gets interrupted, your decision making is reactive or foggy at best, you get emotionally numb, your relationships don't feel safe or you don't feel as deeply connected. It shows up in all sorts of ways you do not want. So this is why when you just read a book or you do what they call mindset work or you talk to a talk therapist, it often doesn't work on its own, especially for determined high achievers, because your body doesn't believe just what you read or say with your conscious mind. It needs trained, right? So think of your subconscious mind, the thing that runs that automatic response, like a little puppy or a little child. You can't just talk at it. You have to train it with love and care for it to work in a loving way for you. So your body needs to feel safe. It needs to feel enough. It needs to be reminded that this isn't a life or death situation because you've been telling it something else through your actions or through your thoughts and your words for a very long time. So we work on creating safety in our system. And when you create safety in your system, by understanding what is really true and what is really valuable and what do you desire, clarity follows naturally. So I don't want you to think you got to handle pressure or you got to control pressure. I don't want you putting your attention on things that don't align with what you want or desire. I'd rather you shift to, what would it feel like to be safe before proving anything? Like, I really want you to think about, what would that feel like if I could just be me? If I didn't have to pretend or achieve? Inner safety means you don't abandon yourself to produce results, right? You don't withhold your rest until you've earned it or everything's done. And you don't measure your worth by what's outside of you. You know, I was brought up by the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, but never what do you need done unto, and can you do that to yourself? So self-health, self-care, your desires, that doesn't make you selfish. It actually is selfish not to care for yourself. Because if you don't, then you can't give the gifts you're meant to give to other people. If you don't, fill your own cup and it's empty, then you're just giving people backwash, a crappy version of you. That sounds more selfish to me than becoming your best self so that you can share it with others. What do you think? When you learn to trust your needs and your desires, everything changes. Your leadership becomes easier. It feels good. Decisions can be led through intention and intuition. They become simpler. And like you feel like yourself again. Rather than having to be pretending all the time to be somebody else, to be enough. So let's pause together for just a moment. Wherever you are, let your breath slow down. Not a special technique yet. I'll share those today or another day. I just want you to notice that you're here. Feel your feet on the floor. Have an awareness of your breath moving through your body. You're here. Your body is supported. You're not in danger. Nothing needs to be solved right now. Let your jaw release. Maybe stretch it out. Let your shoulders soften slightly. And let your chest expand naturally as you inhale and exhale. The technique that might be helpful is if you just breathe in for a count of 4, hold it slightly at the top, and then exhale for slightly longer for 6. Inhale through your nose for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. And exhale, blowing out like you're blowing through a straw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Just by being present and breathing, exhaling for slightly longer than you're inhaling, you don't have to tell your system anything. It starts to remember that you're safe. Because when you exhale for slightly longer, you know you're not in a state of urgency. It allows you to come back to balance so that you can be more creative, that you can be more of an inspiring leader, that you can feel more like yourself, and then make decisions from who you are versus who you think you should be. When you visit this state regularly, everything begins to rewire. Today is just a short experience to give your body a taste of what safety feels like, to be you here now. As we come to a close, I want to invite you to pause and notice what you're taking with you today. You don't need to decide anything right now. Just sit in your awareness. The awareness you gain today will continue integrating on its own. If this experience has opened something for you, there are many ways to continue. What I would suggest to start is just explore this work more deeply through a simple little ebook called The Success Trap that we wrote, where we guide you through recognizing the trap, right? So you can see that it doesn't actually mean safety, and how to unwind that pressure trap that's been woven into your identity because it's not who you are. It's just what you've rehearsed, and will help you rehearse something that feels better, something that feels more like you. And if you're ready, you can go ahead and book a call too with me, a free first call, to start looking at your patterns and get some personal support. You can do that at unlocklimitlessyou.com/call. It's a space where we'll begin to explore what is operating inside of you and how you can alter it, repattern it from inner safety without judgment and without pressure. You'll find more of the next steps linked below. Right now, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for being for you, for giving yourself the space to pause, because that's where the change begins.